Hey there, comic book fans. I am back from the comic shop again this week, and I've got 7 comics this week. Pretty big week for me. I got 6 new comics plus a reprint. I got my Walking Dead bagged one. That's the reprint. I'll open it up right. I haven't even opened it up yet. But we'll start with Stray Bullets, issue number 39, Sunshine and Roses by David Lapham. A rat chewing a power line. Okay, I guess that'll have something to do with the story. Last issue was an Amy race car story. And I was a little... I didn't take to that one too much. Here's the 8-panel grid going on. Some of the Amy race car, they're like fantasy kind of stories in the middle of this that have to do with all the characters. And usually I like them, but sometimes they fall flat for me. A little more look at his... he always works on this 8-panel grid in Stray Bullets. So that one fell a little flat for me last issue, but it still wasn't terrible or anything like that. But we'll see how the new issue goes as they get back to the regular stories. Then we've got Strangers in Paradise 25, number 7. I got the right title for that this week, Strangers in Paradise 25, XXV. We always get a little quote here. What's our quote? The journey to understanding begins with a leap of faith. Danica Dark. Okay. Oh, that's right. We left off with a leap of faith at the end of last issue with her jumping off this cliff, saying, "I hope there's water down there." And this has been straight up Kachu action adventure for this first 6 issues, now going on 7. Not so much the relationship stuff that went on in the original Strangers in Paradise, but straight up action adventure with Kachu. Looking all Indiana Jones-ish in this one, too, with her backpack and bag leaping. Oh, there's even people firing guns behind her. Didn't realize that at first. Okay. Always good, Strangers in Paradise, Terry Moore. I buy all this stuff, so... That one I should... Savage Dragon, 239. Malcolm Dragon, he's the lead of the... He's up in Canada, and... Let's see, what happened last issue? Last issue, Malcolm Dragon's blood has healing properties, but then it'll heal you and then explode you at some time later. So they had something going on with... he had to save... what's her name? All of a sudden I can't remember his name. His stepsister or something's life with his blood to heal her. She didn't. They found a way around the exploding her, but then lots of people found out Malcolm's blood could heal people. So that like all sorts of people were coming out of the woodwork going, "We need his blood! We need his blood!" Regular people and supervillains. So always good. Let's see if we can find a nice double-page spread for you. There's always a fun double-page spread in Savage Dragon. Don't know what's going on there, but I think these are the monsters that live under. They're kind of like mole people. In Savage Dragon, there are living underneath the earth somewhere are mole people, and they attack every now and then. So that's going on. But 239 issues later, I'm still enjoying Savage Dragon. So we'll see what happens with this issue. Then we've got Encounter number 7, the all ages book drawn by Chris Giarrusso. Written by Giarrusso, Baltazar, and Franco. And I think this is coming to an end soon. Maybe after the second trade. I just saw something about like issue 10 maybe being the last issue. Well, this is a fun, all-ages superhero story. Encounter comes from the name Close Encounters because he's an alien. He's got Barco, his sidekick. And that's a new... Who's that second guy? Champion. That's the new superhero in town. A mysterious person in this suit of armor. We don't know who that is yet. And Encounter's a good all-ages book. It's straight-up superhero stuff with humor in it. I enjoy it. Oh, look at that. A Cyclops lady. Pretty cool. But like I said, I'll buy it to the end. I've been enjoying it thoroughly. I bought it just because, like I said, Chris Giarrusso is a friend of mine, and I like his work. He does G-Man, and he did Mini Marvels, so I usually pick up whatever he does. And that was a good one. And next we have, is this the last issue? Hold on, let me put my glasses on and look. 6 of 6. This is the last issue of Empowered and Sister Spooky's High School Hell. Nice multi-armed... Is it Shiva is the goddess, the Hindu goddess with multi-arms? I can't remember. But there we go. Sister Spooky is the devil who gave her her powers is now torturing her by sending her back to high school with all these evil high school women who she went to school with, who all are blonde and look the same because they sold their souls to the devil for power and all got to be pretty blondes. And Sister Spooky, she sold her soul to the devil, but decided to keep her. That's Sister Spooky right there. Decided to keep her dark skin and natural hair. So there's all sorts of stuff going on with that, and they're just it's kind of been like a video game. Of course, Carla Speed McNeil on the art, and Adam Warren is the one who always does Empowered. And who is it? All of a sudden I can't remember who it was. Just had a nice blog. Todd Klein. If you ever look him up, he's a letterer. He's done lettering for decades now for comics. And he's got a blog on lettering and comics history and stuff. And he also just did a nice little blog on Carla Speed McNeil's process for her lettering. This is all hand lettering stuff she does. So he did look up Todd Klein blog and you'll find that. And a really nice little article on how she does her lettering. Just because, look, I mean, that lettering is... She really goes all out and hand letters it. So that's good stuff. But last issue of this, I've enjoyed it very much because, Carla Speed McNeil is one of my favorites. And she's on the art for this. And what do we have next? East of West, issue number 39. I almost like that cover. I mean, these East of West covers are so forgettable, so... I barely ever look at them. I'm not a big fan of all that type and the big number. And they're just forgettable. I don't know. Oh, there's some murky looking art. I don't know what's up with that. That is not how the East of West art usually looks. There's how the East of West art usually looks. And all our different factions in the future are fighting. This is a story about the end of the world. And everybody knows it's the end. Like prophecies are being fulfilled and the 4 horsemen have come down. It's the end of the world. But everyone's kind of, all the power brokers in the world are still fighting for power, even though it's the end of the world. So that it's the end of the world doesn't matter to them at all. They're fighting for power and they're trying to come out on top at the end of the world. That's what all of East of West has been about. And in the beginning, there was all sorts of machinations about what's going on. And now we get the end of the world. I think this is wrapping up soon. I'm not even sure. But it's been fun. Oh, here's Walking. I sold my first Michonne Walking Dead number 19 last year, so I figured I'd get the reprint now to replace it. So let's see which. I think there's various different covers on this. I saw Big E and his wife on the New York Warriors channel opening theirs, so I think you can just pull this down. There you go. You don't need scissors. You can just pull that down and see what cover you got. There we go. It opens like a door. What's behind door number 1? It's... I don't know. I guess this is the logo-less one. I don't know what the variants are on these or if it matters. But it looks like... Who does it? J. Scott Campbell and Peter Steigerwald. Nice. I'll take it. Like I said, I sold mine, so I just getting a new one for the heck of it. You know what I'd like? I've been liking those Marvel True Believers reprints, so I have to say getting a reprint's fine. There's something about reprints in that they're not precious. If you got a Walking Dead 19 is worth a couple of $100, so it becomes precious. So it's like you look at it, not that I mishandle my comics in general, but who wants to look through a $200 comic? $4 comic, what the heck? I'll look. I'm much more like what was I? I was just reading the first Punisher, True Believers. Had fun reading it. I mean, it's just when you get the reprint, it's just a comic. It's just a comic you can read for fun. When it's the original Punisher, what is it? Spider-Man 129. It's not just a comic. It's an expensive comic. So it's like, I don't want, you don't want to read, one little, you accidentally tear it, and it's now a less expensive comic. And it's like, oh, well, that's no fun. Well, it's a True Believers edition. It's just its content, so that's fun. So I dig reprints. So there's the last of it for the week. It's a reprint. Fine with me. Now let me show you some artwork I got back. I'll show you a couple of things because speaking of reprints, I did I was just messing around with the iPad pencil and a drawing on the iPad, and I turned it into. I ended up making this is all inked by hand, not digitally, and it's colored with. You can just see some little lines there. It's colored with Copic marker. So this is the first Superman Breaking Chains cover. Who drew it originally? I put his name down here. Fred Ray. I couldn't have even told you Fred Ray drew this, but there he is. And I actually blew it up because he's not overlapping the logo in the original Superman 11. He's down below. So I just did a recreation of it just for the heck of it. Felt like it. I might put it up on eBay, see if anybody wants it. But fun doing that one. And then we got another, we'll show you this back here. This is my another large ink drawing. And this one's sort of, I don't know, it's called Face Fight, because I named them randomly. But this one's just kind of a strange graphic. Is it a dog's face? Is it a mon? We got sharp teeth. We got nostrils. We got eyes up here. So it's definitely some kind of animal face. But sometimes I draw these things and I'm not exactly sure what they are. But either way, you don't want to get bit by those teeth. But I know we've also got all the different textures. I'll bring this up close. You can see those are sort of the mechanical lines down there. Those are the textured lines in there. So I use all sorts of line patterns and to create textures and gray patterns in that one. So it's that one's all black ink otherwise. Okay. So glad to show you some comics, glad to show you some art, and you guys have a good week out there.